G'day punters, welcome back. This season we're going to try and do something a little bit different. Every Monday after either a Saturday or a Sunday meeting, we're going to do some horses to follow. Might put in a couple of sacks in there and also a couple of forgives. Obviously we're going to start with yesterday's meeting where it's good to be back at the races and it's good to see some nice horses go around.
It was, definitely. I thought it was one of those meetings where from start to finish, there was something all day long to really enjoy. The number of different storylines, some good younger horses, and then obviously the HKSA, our Chief Executives Cup, the traditional feature, which was a good, solid contest. So really enjoyed it. And I think you don't realise how much you've missed something, Adam, until you have it back. And to have the racing back yesterday, for us who were lucky enough to be able to be back there, I enjoyed being back at the races and back working there.
Yeah, I know a lot of people probably come home from a holiday and don't want to go back from work. But I think for the last probably 2 to 3 weeks, I've been excited to get back to the races. It's obviously we do love our racing and we're pretty keen race goers, but it's good to get back and get amongst the jockeys, the horses, the trainers, and everyone else involved there. It was good racing. Seen some very nice horses back, and it's only going to get better from here on in. And Wednesday looks not a bad card at Happy Valley.
No, that's right. A few interesting horses and particularly a few interesting ones from David Hayes' stable, I think, that are worth looking out for. But let's get to Wednesday a bit later on and have a look back at what happened on Sunday at Sha Tin. First race went to Joe Moreira and to Joy Master, trained by Casper Founds. But from a story point of view, the meeting was made really by Moneymore. David Hayes winning with his first runner in Hong Kong. Great to see Keith Young on a horse. So there was a bit of pressure on Keith. A lot of eyes on Moneymore because of David Hayes. Good to see him get the win there.
Definitely. His lightning strikes twice.
Yes.
Same thing. He's a pretty incredible record. I seen something he's 25 years ago won his first race. Then with his son, he won his first ever race with him. He's won his first ever race again.
So I think when he went back to Melbourne,
won his first race.
Yeah, back in 2005.
So
yes.
Hazy knows how to get him ready
yes.
to fire. But all credit, of course, to David. He's got the horse fit, but it was an absolute peach from Keithy Young. And I think Keithy was very nervous going out into that race, and there was a lot of pressure on him. And good on him. He's a young fella who I think I speak on behalf of everyone over here. He's a great guy, and he had a tough season last season, and I think he's going to have a much better season this season. And he's a good rider, so I hope he gets more opportunities. And I spoke to you yesterday about that horse. You didn't probably think he could win another one?
Maybe I was being a bit harsh upon reflection because it did take him, that was his 23rd start and his first win, but he's still will be rated low 30s at the very
I thought he
case,
could win one or two more. The only thing I probably thought was how wound up was he? Is there much improvement? But if he draws a soft gate next start, I think he could go pretty much anywhere. And I thought it was a good win. And it was good for the both of them, especially Keithy, I thought.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the third race, you gave a bit of a push for All Joyful on Friday when we did the podcast. What did you make of what he did?
Just had no luck, did he? He didn't get out, and then he got out late. He's a horse that's still learning. Looking at him in the yard, he still looked like he probably would have taken a bit of benefit from yesterday's run, and I think he will improve next start. 1,200 yesterday, I would tip that he's going to 1,400 metres next start. Zach will probably stick with him, and I think he'll probably maybe be ridden a bit more positive. No one else's fault. He just got tired horses in front of him and couldn't get out late, but I thought he was good, and I think he will be winning soon.
The fourth race, the winner was Bright Kid, who's been flying, but you and I both gave a good push for Untold Riches. He trialled really well going into that race. 200 metres out, I thought he was going to win, to the last 150, 100, he just emptied.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be giving up on him, though.
Definitely not. Another horse in the yard where, he's a big boy. He's a very big boy. And I don't think his coat really looked, well, of course, he's first up, but his coat didn't look 100% ready to go. So he'll take a lot of benefit from it. He sort of got to the front, didn't he, and didn't really know what was going on and switched off late, where I personally believe he's going to be a much better horse ridden with a bit of a sit. So no one's fault yesterday. Keithy rode him fine. He just ran out of gas late. So he's a horse to follow. and he's still going to take a lot of maturing. So I wouldn't be shocked, if he has a nice little break and then comes back and matures and strengthens up. But he is a big boy, so obviously keeping him sound's another thing. But definitely don't give up on him.
No, I'd be putting him into the black book for sure.
One horse in that it will be dropping co-partner era.
Yes, he's really gone on with it, or he's certainly improved his last couple of runs.
He'll be winning in Class 5. He has to be ridden quiet. He'll be ridden quiet when he's in Class 5, and he will win.
The 5th race, Leap of Faith, he was pretty tough the way that he won, sitting 3 wide throughout.
Very tough by Sebring out of steps in time.
She was a good mare.
She was a good mare. John O'Shea?
You're testing me here.
I think maybe John O'Shea, if anyone wants to prove us wrong.
Could have been.
I think it was.
Or was it? Might have been John O'Shea just before he took the Godolphin job,
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
but I remember her she was a really, really good mare. So I thought he was very, very tough yesterday. And all honest to him, Ezra was okay again. I just think he needs to be ridden stone cold with as I said the other, I think the big weight just really hurts that horse a little bit because he's not the biggest horse. Villafion didn't have much luck, got caught up on the fence, so maybe a little bit of a forgive there. And one horse, I'm going to give away too much, Edward, but I don't think many would have spotted it. And it's a horse I sort of had a bit of an opinion of last season. Did nothing. Joyful Cheers. Wait till he gets up to a bit of a trip.
He's near a class drop too.
Correct. A mile, 1,800 metres. He could be huge odds. I'd be putting him in your black book and just put a little note next to him saying, wait till a bit of a class drop and a bit of a rising trip. I thought he was okay yesterday. Okay,
the 6th race, Prince of Gems. Well done to Tony Millard. He's got a terrific record with these stable transfers. The one I'll be taking out of the race is Pegasus Glory's effort first up.
Yep. We said the 2 first starters the other day. We thought they trialled good. Jimmy had this horse look like he was ready to go, didn't he? He just got beaten by Prince of Gems, who's had the race maturity. And he's a freak with these stable changes, Tony Miller. So all credit to him. Other than that, I thought there's a few disappointing runs in it. Pegasus Glory, I'd see the main one to follow it with the winner.
Telecom Jack, he's a horse I think we should be taking out of race 7. Good to see Metro Warrior when he deserved that, when he'd been running well in some strong form races leading into that. Double on the day for David Hayes and a double on the day as well too for Zach Burton. But Telecom Jack, did you like what you saw from him, mate?
I did. Yeah, he was the one who had the alarm bells. Another one of a horse that I've got an opinion of is Prince of Frog, formerly with Gerald Ryan in Sydney. He was good late. He's got ability, this horse. I don't know where they're going to place him, but he's not a 1,000-metre horse. So I would expect him to run a much improved race next start or third up. Also, Sunny Lad. I thought his recent trial was good. I thought he was good yesterday. He's another horse that's looking for further. I think probably they're the 3 to follow from it. War of Courage, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. I think he needs a nice little break.
The other horse I'd mention, for mine, Changsheng Prince represents how much tougher it is going from Griffin Company up to Class 3.
Yeah. His trial wasn't the best. I don't know if he might just... He hasn't had a big break.
No.
It's a bit tough, and he looks like a pretty big horse. So I would expect him to have a bit of a breather and then come back and mature. It is hard for these horses to just continue to go, and they're not robots. So, I think there's a few horses that have had a hard last season and then they've been smashed straight away being first up. So it is hard. So I think a few of them will have a bit of a breather, and I would expect much better runs. But if Chen Chen Prince goes around soon, I wouldn't be backing him.
No, I wouldn't either off that effort. It's a tricky thing, isn't it, though? Because you get horses who can benefit from having that bit of residual fitness from last season. Then you've got horses that they're taking on that might not be forward enough. It's a bit of a balancing act.
Oh, for sure. But a lot of those horses yesterday had the residual fitness. They probably only had 2 or 3 or 4 runs. Some of the other horses had about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs. And then they're coming in back into first start where it's very hot outside. And it's, it can be tough on these horses. So I'm not going to put a pen for a lot of horses yesterday, but they're going to have to improve a fair bit before you're going to have your money on them next up. But yeah, those 3 horses that we marked in that race, I think Prince of Frog, Telecom Jack, and Sunny Lad, I think they'll run big races again next up.
The feature for the day was the HKSAR Chief Executive Cup Class 1 1200 metres, and perfect match. Well, Danny Shung's got a superb record in the race. He sat 3 wide to win. He deserved it.
That was a tough win. He's always been a very talented horse, hasn't he? I remember they thought they were going to stretch him out in the mile, but Denny's always said he hasn't thought he's a miler, so he's nailed that. 1400 metres. He's a very good horse, this horse. He's very tough. We'll start from the top. Wishful Thinker, no thank you anymore. Raton, probably getting a little bit older. He's just losing that speed.
He wasn't bad yesterday.
No, he wasn't.
Though.
Definitely wasn't. But he is getting older, and it's tough for him to keep up with them early and then sprint late. Where, no disrespect, he's just aging. Champion's Way. Don't know where to go from there.
I'll just say I think he's a horse that takes a couple of runs to get going. I'd make more of a judgment on where he's at in his career after start 3 or 4 this season.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to see a little bit more. Jolly Bennett, he's a freak. He's an absolute freak of a horse. 9-year-old gelding that just tries time and time again. Fat Turtle, okay. Probably crowded for a little bit of room. I think he's that better horse that can sit, get to the outside and pounce late. I think that's probably the way. Perfect match, Beauty Legacy, our old mates.
Bad. He does too much wrong. He'll win races, but he strikes me, Adam, as the type of horse that needs everything to go his way in that. And yesterday, the hope was that coming back to 1200 metres, I know he was a bit fresh, and I know they did back off the tempo in the middle stages of the race, but it was a slowish 1200 metre tempo, not a slowish 1800 metre tempo they were going at yesterday. He missed the kick. He then still wanted to get keen in the middle stages of the race. When you look at his win first up, he was impressive, but he got the saloon passage through on the inside in a race that was perfectly run to suit. He hasn't run up to that since then.
Do you think all those people who said when he won first up last season, that he'll win the Derby, do you think they're probably thinking that he's not as good a horse as he is?
Well, I was one of those people that thought that he was Size's best 4-year-old series horse.
But he's always been a head case.
Yes, but I guess it was easy. He did have the good form in Australia. When he won his Group 2 at Caulfield, it looked super impressive. And he's second to Mystic Journey in Australia and Guineas. That all looked good on paper.
And that's ridden going forward.
Yes.
I would be going forward on him soon, which, I don't know, I'm not training the horse. But I thought he was good late. I thought his last 100 metres was very good when Neil ducked back to the inside. He may need to be a horse where he won first up here. He weaved through, got back to the inside and went up the fence. That may be the only way to ride him if they don't want to lead on him. But I don't think he's just a tricky horse. But he's 5 years old. He's not settling. At 5, I think it'd be very tough to iron out a few of his bad habits at 5 years old. So he's not 3 or 4. He's 5. And I would just love to see this horse go to the front. That's all I want to see.
I'm saying bad until further notice.
Yeah.
Amazing Star. There's a nice race at Happy Valley in a couple of weeks' time that would suit him perfectly. Shining Ace for Mine has probably got to his level in the ratings.
He's not up to them, but probably needed the run.
Okay.
Computer Patch needed the run too. He just capitulated late. And Victorian, he probably should have won.
Perfect match. Hong Kong Sprint, is he good enough to be there?
After that win yesterday, yeah, definitely it's. Why not? He's not a miler, so that'll be the race they target. And I know Alexi got off him yesterday and gave him a glowing report. And in saying that, well done to Alexi. He's a jockey that we thought will have a big season, and that's probably the start of big things to come for him. And he's definitely a horse I'm tipping Alexi would like to stay with. But overall, it's not Group 1 form, that race. No,
I agree with you there. Excellent proposal, though. He looks pretty promising. And looking at the race at the 300, I thought he's in all sorts of trouble, this horse.
Wowee. that was the win of the day. It was an incredible ride. Joe just has that knack to weave through, pounce late, and if you were on track and you heard Joe screaming at him, he lifted him over the line. I was on him, and I was a bit nervous. I don't know how good he is. That's his second start in Hong Kong. He was very, very good in Australia. In Australia, he probably did those similar things that he is still doing now, where he takes a little bit to wind up and then he gets going and he really runs through the line. Class 3, yes, so I'm going to say he's a group horse.
Okay. So he's definitely one to be putting into your black book then, even though...
And he's still green. He still doesn't know what he's doing. And Joe, I seen Joe get off him yesterday and he looked at one of the workers of size and he was sort of like, wow, that was really, really impressive. And I think they have always known that he's a bit of a talented horse, but I don't know what Johnny Size does. He's an incredible trainer. You see these horses go around, they're just quiet, relaxed. It looks like they're not even ready to race. The minute the starter presses that button, they are just game on. And he's an incredible trainer. And he's a very good horse. He's another very, very smart horse by Exceeding Excel.
He certainly hit the ground running too, John Size, with a double on the day. The first time, actually, that he's had a winner at all at the opening meeting of the season since 2011 for the
premiership.
I don't think Hayes can win it.
I think Size is in for a big one.
Yeah, I do too.
Gift of Lifeline.
Yes, definitely. He was unlucky. The Hulk got home very well. I thought Star Performance was better.
Much better. He's a talented horse. He's got the ability. And he's another horse, I think, the big weight, he needs to get to that. He'll go probably up in grade now.
Yes, lightweight class 2.
Correct. And my old mate, Great Treasure. He's a freak.
But the problem with him running on for a third is that he doesn't drop into the grade that he needs to get into to win. He's one of those horses that's good enough to run on for a third or fourth in those class 3 races. He's just not quite good enough to win them. Yeah,
I think he's definitely good enough to win them, but he's had 67 starts for 7 wins, 6 seconds. He looked like he was gone. He was scrubbed along, and then got going late. And I actually thought he was going to win it there, but I would really love to see Joe get on this horse down in the weights, or Alexi. No disrespect to Jack Wong, he did everything right, but they're just that little bit stronger and they just get that little bit of extra inch out of the horses. And I think there's a race in him. A little bit of a cheeky, I think, next start, Tianchi Monster. Chris had him looking brilliant in the yard. His coat looked good, but he was just that little bit chunky. I think he'll take one more run, and I think he'll be winning very soon. He's a horse that I want to follow out of it. Uncle Steve was okay. He wouldn't have beaten the first 2 or 3 over the line, but if I could train a horse or own a horse out of that race, it would be an excellent proposal.
Yes, saw on social media that you're quite taken by him, as well as what you've said just then. The last race where they went like our pay did over the off-season, Adam?
I don't know what they were doing here. Second section, 20.8. That's 100 mile an hour. Anyway, a horse
set it up for the sweepers.
Of course.
And
I could have run on in that race.
Yes, but for horses like Super Wealthy and Beauty Applause, they were never going to be really able to win, given the tempo that they went at.
As we said the other day, it was going to be a huge ask for Super Wealthy after a little operation and a long time off. He's a strong sort of horse. That was a gut buster yesterday for that horse, and he's a very talented horse where he could be very, very flat next up. I love him as a horse. I think he's a top class horse, but he would have slept very well last night. Mongolian King, consistent, just does what he has to do. He you know what? He could win a class 1 right down in the weights, hectic speed. I think he does it. And a horse I marked the other day, and I don't think it was Keithy's fault. It probably could have ran third. Kairos Unicorn.
Did you give him a shout on Friday?
Yeah, he's a horse. He started huge overs yesterday. I think he's got a lot of ability. He has to be ridden one way. A couple of starts goes on the all-weather track. He didn't enjoy the all-weather track. A couple of starts before that, Blake Shin rode him where he weaved through and was really, really good. And
unlucky as well too.
Yeah, very unlucky. He'll be winning a race soon. Happy fun. I'm penning him. I don't. Yeah, he's
been a really good horse though. I can't help but admire the way that he goes about it. But I just think that up on the speed, sort of long to be up there sort of style that he's. Once he gets there, he can keep on going. But I don't think he's got that early speed anymore.
He's a consistent horse, but he has had 17 starts for only 2 wins. He just keeps finding.
I think there was a bit of pilot error involved in a couple of his races that he probably should have won.
He looked a bit lazy yesterday when he just didn't want to go early. And he is a horse that looks like he has to be ridden forward. But maybe next start, if he doesn't jump with him, just try and ride him quiet and see what he can do. But he'll sleep well. He would have slept well last night as well. So,
yes.
Starshine probably nearly should have won. Didn't get much luck, got out late. I reckon there's a race in King Opie again soon.
He's back towards his right level in the ratings.
Yeah, and I'll make Ballistic King. He's a trier.
Yeah, I sort of think it's one of those Class 2 races. None of those horses in that field are superstar.
And if Beauty Applause keeps going up that price, you're a braver man than me. Keep backing it.
Okay. My horse to follow out of the race is Racing Fire because he's close to a drop in class. He can win in Class 2, but he's a better winning hope in Class 3. He loomed up, but he was probably a little bit too close to the pace. I think Connections would have been pleased by the way that he performed under the circumstances. And when he does get to Class 3, which shouldn't have to wait too long, I think he'll be winning.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go to a nice little Class 3, maybe even put Jerry Chow on with a 10-pound claim, 1,200 metres.
I think we'll see our friend
Zachary Burton on it?
Yes, I think he'll be riding him.
It wouldn't shock me.
No, he does do very well when teaming up with Dennis Yip, and he's got a good record on Racing Fighter.
Yeah.
So that's what we're taking out of yesterday. What have we got to look forward to on Wednesday night, Adam, for meeting number 2?
A few nice horses in. Mr. Hayes. There's a couple of nice raw horses in. Urban Dancer.
Yes.
Jeez, he's been trialling well.
He's been sort of the summer superstar, hasn't he? He's looked really good at the barrier trials. He had 2 trials. He's won them both. He hasn't won a race. I don't think he's even been in the placings in a race in his time here in Hong Kong for his former stable. But David's obviously going well.
He's always had that little bit of ability at the trials. I don't know what it is with 1650 first up. I thought he would have went to a 1200 all-weather track. That's my only query.
Okay.
And he has drawn.
The other horse I'm looking forward to seeing, Melbourne Hall's always looked like a horse with ability. Watching the track work leading up to the weekend, he's a horse that I had noted down as working well on a couple of occasions. So Zach Curtin jumps on board. Off his work and off what he's shown at different times throughout his career, he's a very intriguing runner for mine.
Yeah, definitely. He's always showed ability. I remember Matty Poon, second start, got back, launched down the outside of Happy Valley and was big odds. He ran third, I think. So he's always shown ability, and you're right, his recent work has looked good. The last race is going to be a competitive race where Fantasy, who's a horse that has shown a lot of ability in his first season, takes on another horse that David Hayes poised to strike that hasn't shown much ability, but he's shown a bit of ability, but looks like he's ready to go as well. And Zach Casper, Guy Dragon, another stable change where I don't care if you like anything else in the race, save on that horse.
Okay. So Wednesday night then for racing in Happy Valley. First is at 7:15, I think I'm right in saying. 8 races. It'll be good to be back at the Valley. And then we'll be back with you on Friday for another 2 Colts in the Kong, Adam.
Can't wait. And we're going to do a little giveaway.
Oh, okay.
Got a couple of whips to give away.
Okay, good.
We'll keep you updated also. Hope you all have a great week and hope you find plenty of winners. Thank you.